Okay. So, hello everyone. Thanks for being here. I didn't expect it like full room, honestly. So you are interested into how to lead. Sometimes I'm wondering myself like how to lead also. So I'm trying like to give some tricks, some tips, some answers, and we'll see that during the 45 minutes. So my name is Julien Salvi. I'm the lead Android engineer at Aircall, based in Paris. I'm also a Google developer expert for Android and doing for some other stuff, mainly in short. And you still can find me on Twitter, sharing some tech stuff, article, and conference stuff. Okay, a bit of disclaimer before moving forward. This is gonna be based on my personal experience as an Android developer, senior engineer, lead mainly. And what I'll be sharing might not be working everywhere. So you need like to challenge what I'm gonna tell you and adapt to fit your needs. As you know, it's always a continuous learning. So what you're gonna be learning here, maybe it's gonna be good for your team or for your next career move and so on. And this talk will be a bit interactive. At some points, I'm gonna ask you to vote on some stuff. So please participate. Okay, so a bit of storytelling before like going into the real stuff of how to lead. It has to start from somewhere. So the beginning. So at first, when I was like a mobile intern, so I did a lot of discovery around Android, iOS, building for BlackBerry. So it was back in 2011. Then I moved like to an Android engineer intern position for my finishing my studies. So I was the only engineer working on the project, building an application from scratch just before even being a real engineer was quite a nice thing. Both of my experience at the beginning, both internship were based in the US, so gained a lot of knowledge about that. Then I moved back to France and spent 5 years at Cinemur, a startup between 2014 and 2019, where I learned a lot of stuff around like Android, how to be at a company, interact with others, interacting with other teams like iOS developers, designers, product manager, and so on. Then I moved like to other position in another company at Innovorder, and then Aircall, where I came as a senior Android engineer. And then in 2021, I was promoted to a lead Android position. And since then, I'm leading a team of 4 people. We didn't add any churn. That's a good thing in my opinion. So for almost 3 years now, I've been leading the team at Aircall, and I'm gonna share you what I've been learned about that. So what is lead? I hope you're gonna get the music inside your head. And when I say what is lead, if I can ask you to scan this tiny QR code and tell me in one word, when I say lead, what you have in mind. Okay. Oh, it's gonna be working. Okay. So we have guide, team, teach, recruit, knowledge, tech coach. Oh, okay, lots of things. Mentoring. When I say lead, you say leader. Yes, that's a nice one. Inspire, knowledge, responsibility. Okay, that's a lot of like things, and a lot of things are like moving. So okay, the main thing like I see it's team, teaching, guiding, mentoring, responsibility, and yes, like almost everything in that part. Gandalf, yeah, why not? sometimes. Okay, so I took a bit about the real lead word and dig into the Cambridge dictionary, which was a bit funny because like the first definition, it was like to control a group of people, a country, or a situation. Okay, control might be a bit too serious. A situation sometimes, yes, definitely not a country. Not control people. You guide people, but you don't control them. And this one also was quite interesting to cause someone to do something, especially something better. Alors, in my opinion, when I lead people, I'm trying to do something, but good. Not like to make my product a piece of crap or moving people into the wrong direction. But it was an interesting definition from the Cambridge dictionary. To live a particular life, that's also probably the case. To take someone somewhere, that's an interesting one because as a leader, you participate into the career path of the people who are in your team. So that's kind of true. And for the fun thing, in boxing, it's like to make the first attack punch, especially with one particular hand. Might be useful in some situation. Okay, lead as a noun. So it's an action or an example that shows a person or a group what to do. That's mostly true about like the lead role. Sometimes you get people, you tell them some directive, some direction. So that could apply to a lead engineer position. And this one is also very nice. So it's a piece of information that allows the discovery. So think about like you have some experimentation to do at work, some spikes, and you lead your own project. Customers to be found, so that's much more applicable to the salespeople, or a solution to be found, and that's especially what like a lead position and the engineering term of leading mean. And for the adjective, like lead Android engineer, used to describe the main performer or part in a performance. Not sure I'm the main performer in my team, but I think the team is like the main performer of the whole team. So you have to take some, as always, take some stuff, analyze it, and take what you think is good. So it was nice like to see some like a common definition about like a dictionary and stuff like that. But what about like the lead engineering term of the lead? So I asked Mistral, no ChatGPT, going to the French AI stuff. And it was quite interesting when I say, what is a lead engineer? Like, basic question. I saw like some terms like technical guidance that applies to like if you are interested into like a more tech lead position. That's totally true. Project management might be much more applicable for a team lead position. And you have like some cross, let's say, cross theme across like the both tech lead, team lead. Quality assurance, communication is very important for both roles. And you have like some other stuff like documentation is like for everyone, and it's not applying for especially the lead position. So it was like an interesting kind of topics, let's say. What I be talking about gathers like most of the things like I show in the definition and in this one. So when you are in like exiting the senior path of the individual contributor, you have generally in like medium, big company, two options to push forward in the individual contributor path to be promoted as a staff engineer, principal, and then distinguish. So moving into the IC path, or moving into the direction of the manager, like engineering manager, director, and head of engineering, all that kind of roles. So this is two directions you can take. And the position of a lead can be like a gateway between these two paths, like the individual contributor at first, like junior, mid, senior, and then you have this kind of gateway. A lead engineer can be a tech lead, team lead, whatever lead you have in front of the lead engineer. So it's really a gateway, and it's up to you to be more technical or more into the management. And think of, if you are promoted to a lead position, think of your team. If your team need more technical aspect, so you need to adjust the, let's say, the threshold of if you want to be technical or you want like to push into the management role of the lead engineer. And about that, I'll be thinking about some theme, some topics. So I'll be talking about how to build a learning environment, the daily role of a lead engineer, how to empower your team, and also how to stay sharp technically. The cross-team party, but like how to communicate with other teams and how to communicate up also. And how you can build a team. You see there's going to be different aspects of building a team, and what's next after this lead engineering role. So please, if you want to vote on some topics that you are very interested in, please vote the most interesting one, and I'll be starting with the top one, and then I'll be going through the rest of the topics. Okay, so empowering your team, building a team. Okay. Nobody's interested in what's next. It's already the next step. Okay, so we have quite a few votes right now. So I'll be starting with empowering your team. Then I'm gonna be switching to how to build a team, and then I'll defining like what actually does a lead Android engineer. Okay, so let's move on. So empowering your team. Okay, let's go. So empowering your team. I like subtitle this like higher, further together. Because if you want like to have a strong team, move forward, have a strong product, strong like technical environment, it's not about just yourself, it's also and mainly about your team. So when you are promoted as a lead engineer, your role is like you have the responsibility of your team. And your responsibility of empowering your team, give them responsibilities, give them like the right environment to build what it has to be built. So by making your team growing, you will make yourself grow. So it's quite rewarding, like to say, okay, so I embedded a junior in my team more than 3 years ago. I see him like gaining technical knowledge, assurance, and is now very confident in tackling like very deep tech task. It's very good like to give responsibility to people. So in that way, as a lead, always give like advice, but like not impose things. Like try like to guide them. Like if you are like reviewing MRs, not say, oh, okay, this is shit. No, you don't tell that to your teammates. So emphasize, guide them like to the right direction, so they can like find the good way of working, especially with the entire team. And by that direction, like guiding into like the right direction of making the things, you'll make your teammate happy, and they will grow in their career. And always be fair. It might be tough sometimes, but always be fair. Even if it's like on the wrong side, like when something is bad, tell something is bad, but also think of the human like behind, like not tell like harsh things, but always be fair when you are putting a judgment. And the strong thing of having a very strong team working on a certain topic is like to trust each other. When I'm giving like a task to one senior, he has some seniority, he knows how to tackle stuff, he has responsibility to do very deep product and tech task. So I have the trust because of his seniority. But I also need like to trust much more like a younger and less senior person. Even if like I'm starting, okay, maybe he can tackle like a big task. So at first, like you put the little wheel on the bike with them. So like you can do some mob programming, pair programming with him, like to just like push him into the right direction. Then you can like just push away the little wheel of the bike and say, okay, now you're good to go, and I'm trusting you to tackle this like huge bug or big product task. And when you are lead, also you need to defend the career path or your teammates. So as I said, when people came as a junior developer, you know mainly what's going to be happening next, mid, senior, and stuff like that. And it's much more difficult when you embed some much more senior person in your team. So what if the company doesn't have any vision of what is next, the next step of a senior? So if he stays, I don't know, 3-4 years at a senior position, maybe you're gonna get bored. So you have to build an environment to make it like good for him, and who he need like to be happy in building what he is building in the company. So defining the career path is either with your manager as well, like the engineering manager, director, and stuff like that. That reflect the company big picture of what is the career path into the company, but try like to empower as much as possible also your senior people in your team to give them the will of staying in your company and in your team, especially if they are like a very good talent. You don't want like to use your best talent. So there are ways of like rewarding them without promotion. Start with money. But there are also many aspects, like if they are interested into going to conferences, to make some talks and so on. So give them the opportunity to do what is good for them, but also have a thinking. Also, is this also good for the company? So it's a big melting pot of thinking, especially for senior roles. Whoops. No. Sorry. Ok. Bon. Ouais, c'est ici. Okay, next it was how to build a team. So building a team takes some time, and it can be just like starting a team from scratch, or you're being appointing lead to a team. You'll see there's like different aspects of building the team actually. So building a team is not always adding new team members. That's the basic 101 of building a team. So you are adding new team members, but that's the classic way. You can be appointed as a lead into like a new team or a new company. Okay, so I've reached my senior level, but my company doesn't offer me this lead position I want, and I saw an offer, and I passed the interview and so on. So I moved to another company, and I'm now in a lead position into another company. So I need like to kind of build this new team with the people that are already in place. So with an existing team, you can bring also your vision and expertise without pulling everything apart. So if you are being appointed as a lead with the team, it's going to be much more simpler like to, share the vision. You've been working with them for maybe quite a long time, so you know how they work, you know how they think, and you can tell, okay, this team, I know where it's going. And if you need like to add new team member, well define your interview process with your entire team. So it's not like about your manager telling you we need like to hire someone, make something. Think about like the person you're gonna be adding to your team must be a very good fit for not you but for the entire team. So include everyone in the interview process. So how to like define the interview process? You must also always adapt the interview according to the target level. Like you're not gonna be sending the same test to a junior and expecting the same outcome from a senior. So always according to the level of entry, put the right test. Build the interview process by keeping in mind the needs of your team, but also the needs of the company. So if the company needs like someone with strong competencies in some area, that must be like kept into account. So we must like not take like a junior without the expertise, even if he is a good fit. But if the expertise is missing, that's going to be a bit complicated for the company. And when you are like interviewing people, build a dialogue and understand the point of view of the candidate is essential. Open the dialogue like every time you see maybe a blank, see the candidate like thinking too much about the problem, is maybe blocked by some points that the candidate didn't understand well. So try to, depending on the interview you're putting in place, but try to communicate a lot with him. It's essential, like if you want him like to think and move on the like the test. It might be an algorithm test. It might be a test at home that gonna be debriefed by the team, by the entire team. It can be like just a debugging test. So whatever you have in place, always communicate with the candidate. So I split this like building a team into like four different sections. So the first thing, like the promotion with the same team. So the most easier part, you know the team, you know how it works. And as you are staying in the company, you probably know the product well, and you can iterate much more faster. And as you know your team, you know how to interact with the team. It's probably easier also like to work on the retention. Say, okay, I know the team. I know they won't gonna be like exiting the company for maybe 2 years now. And also, once you have this in place, you can bring like your new processes and like your vision to help the team to like be better and move forward with the product and the tech in place. The other thing, yeah, I've been promoting to a lead, but everyone left. Sometimes it happens. So in this case, like you need like to assess the needs. So the needs like finding the right candidate to build your own teams, establish the right interview process, and targeting the right people you want like to integrate into your team. And when people are embedded in the team, even during the interview process, try to share like your vision of the things on the tech and product side. And try like to build trust even if they are not yet into the company. And especially after when everyone is in the company, the building the trust is like the most difficult part here, let's say. Interviewing, targeting the right candidate, okay. After like you have everyone on board, you must build trust with the team like to move forward very quickly. Another thing, like you've been a new lead, but into another team at your company. If you have, for example, for big company that has many Android teams, sometimes like you can be promoted to a lead position, but with new team members. So you don't know them, you didn't really work with them before. So by that, you discover a new area, new topics of what you'll be working on. You need to understand also your new teammates, the ways of working with them, and again, you have to build trust. You are a new lead in the team, so you have to like to build trust with people you didn't know before. In that case, you need to work on your adaptability and communication are key within the team. And I'm also stopping this big mess slide. The last thing is like, okay, you are moving to a new company and you are like moving to a new lead position, keeping the same like building trust company. And this one will take a bit more long time to build the trust and make the vision, because like you are in a new company, so you need like to learn the company vision, the tech that I've been using. You need time to learn the vision in place. So the first approach will be like to learn from the team that is like already in place. So the fastest way of learning the things inside the company, learn from your teammates. And when you finally got the whole picture, bring your personal touch, your vision, assess what you think needs to be done on the tech side and on the management side. And a very nice thing to do also if you are appointing like to a new team is to create a manager README. It's kind of like a README for a repository, but it's for a person. So like it's like explain a bit about like yourself, kind of a bit of a biography. It can be a bit personal, a bit technical, like whatever you think you need to share to the team. And also, I already put it, but in the whole process, always be fair. So some key highlights of building a team. Don't always seek the top performer, top people, the best in class. Seek the best fit for your teams. Sometimes like the best profile might be a junior person like to be added into your team, so you have great new eye on the tech you are using. It's also refreshing like to put senior position into mentoring role, so junior people can learn from the senior, and the other way is also true. Having a diversity in your team and having from junior to senior is a very good thing. Having people from everywhere, every seniority is very refreshing, especially when tackling some very big topics. Also, build a very coherent interview process, so it can ease the candidate that will be in your team, and be human first. It's cool like to rely on data sometimes, but data should help, not come first. Always be the human being you are before using some data. Okay, so what was going next? I think it was the daily role. So to organize, be organized. That's a very good motto. So as a lead, you have like kind of two areas. So you can be like most tech leads. So you're gonna be in that part like working on some very tech skill, like defining, working on your tech expertise, problem solving, putting in place some developer experience, working on architecture problems, DevOps, and so on. So very technical stuff. And a team like a team lead will mostly work on the core skill, which is communication, leadership, teamwork management, decision making, and so on. But each position, like a team lead or tech lead, need to take into account like a bit of both. You can be a tech lead, but it's impossible like, to forget the core skills. If you are a team lead, in order like to understand the big picture, the context, what your team is doing, don't forget like to keep at least a bit of the tech skills. So at Aircall, I'm gonna show you how we work in the Android team. So basically, it's a 2-week sprint. We are a team of 5, including me. So working in a 2-week sprint, we do one release every sprint, validated by a testing session. So we have one QA attached to our team, and at the end of each sprint, we take 1 hour also to test all together the new feature that has been added to the app in the production environment, to be sure like we didn't miss something with the automated test, with the unit test, and so on. So we make sure that nothing that could like degrade the user experience will be pushed in production. We have one chapter in place, so we take one afternoon in each sprint to do some mob programming together. We can be working on like tackling a big bugs, doing some tech refactoring, exploring new tech, exploring new version of Android. So it's really a big moment all together, like to learn and do stuff all together. And we try like to use asynchronous communication where it's possible. For the daily, for example, all our daily is just a message on Slack. We have a bot every morning that pops a message. So hey, share your update. So we don't like spend 15-30 minutes in a Zoom meeting that is boring. So we just drop the message, and we can like focus on much more interesting stuff. And also regarding like the estimation refinement, like the classic ceremonies in the agile world. For this one, it's also asynchronous. So we have a document filled with the tickets, and we put our ratings like 1, 2, 5, 8, and so on. If there is some question, we can ping some teammates or the QA ask us like, okay, could you update what's going to be the test of this thing? Everything is asynchronous. But if someone like has a very good question that was raised like in the daily or in the estimation document, we can make the synchronous things happen with the Zoom. You also have this culture of pair or mode programming at any time. If someone requests like to do some pair programming or some mode programming to tackle a support ticket or like a deep bug, It's highly encouraged like to ask someone to help and give a bit of your brain to help solve the issue. And every 6 months we organize like 2 internal hackathon, like to like do some POC, practice new stuff around a library, playing with some ML stuff. So really like to discover and maybe craft new things with the Aircall application. So really like to unleash the creativity and the technical skills. About my role, so on paper I have the title of team lead, but I don't consider myself as a team lead. It's a bit of both. So you have to like play with like the team needs. So sometimes I'm much more technical, and sometimes I'm much more on the management side, depending on if the team needs like some really need some work on the technical tickets, need to do some refactoring. So I'm gonna be much more like proactive into the tech side. If there are some management process to be put in place, it's going to be much more a team lead role. So what I'm doing the sprint organization and ceremonies with the product manager in place when there is one product manager. I'm also developing the learning environment, so that was part of the chapter, and we also have a learning time. Every sprint, we take one afternoon to do whatever we want technically. So it's a time dedicated to craft new things, explore new technology, read new books about techs and stuff like that. So it's really a time like to craft and learn stuff about a new tech or existing technology. I'm also managing the quarterly assessments. So I'm assessing each teammate of my team quarterly. So it's a bit hard like to define an objective that must fit into 3 months, every 3 months. So that's something I'm learning. Like even 3 years after being promoted to lead, is something that is not easy at all. Finding the right objective to the right candidate. To a candidate teammate, it's not always the most easy thing. I'm also active participation in the development of the project, architecture, and so on. So everything related to the tech stuff, I'm being involved. The beginning of each year, I'm building the tech vision and the tech roadmap with the team. So we have a bit of a plan what we have in mind for the running year. So was talking with the tech vision, and also I take some time to do some crafting and experimenting. Like a few months ago, I took already some time off the sprint to implement and play with ML Kit document scanner. To be integrating in one of our feature at Aircall related to MMS, so to scan the document and send it as a MMS. So take time sometimes like to craft, be technical, be hands-on, and push yourself into the code. And also I do public speaking internally and externally. Internally, like to share knowledge inside the company and be cross team, so we know what topics is being worked with the backend team. I want to know some stuff about some the data team that is in place. So I'm trying like to organize like some mini tech tools internally and externally, thanks to the GD program. So I was talking about like the sprint of our Android team. So it's basically like this. We start the sprint by a bit of a coffee morning, just a casual chat between the entire team, managed by my engineering manager. So it regroups Android, iOS, and one backend team. Then we define the sprint planning for the upcoming 10 days. The release start to roll out at the first day of the release. We have a progressive rollout in place. And the chapter is like where we are working all together on given tech topics. And the learning time is much more like an individual time to craft and experiment stuff. And at the end of the sprint, you have like the refinement of the tickets with the product management, and then the estimation. We create the release, have a retrospective of the past sprint. This time, like to push a new release into the store, and then you start again and again and again. Okay, so like highlights about like the daily role. When you are lead, you are the entry point of your team. So in terms of communication with other teams, many probably through you. But you don't need to do everything. That's the worst thing to do. Delegate to your team is very important. It's like you will empower your team, and you will free sometimes to do some other stuff. Always be fair. I'm insisting on that. Work on the retention. So if you have a thriving environment, it's going to be flawless. Free yourself sometimes. Put on your calendar some focus time, so you avoid like unnecessary meetings. Focus on the topics you are like in priority with the product or with your team as a tech task or refactoring. And with all of that, like make your team grow, and this will be rewarding in the end to see your teammates growing. I think we're gonna be short in taking over stuff. And I think we're gonna go to the Q&A. A bit of resources, like I've gathered here like 3 books about like mostly on the management part, and the one in the middle is mostly building documentation for architectures. But the three of them are very interesting to read. And thank you very much. Remember to always learn new stuff. Thank you. I don't know if you have any questions.